Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back to Above the Break, your favorite basketball show brought to you, of course, by Content Cube on this awesome channel. Mike, we pick it up here in this series, the NBA Finals, as a Game 5 reaction. What a game last night. I want to ask you a whole bunch of stuff about this, but just right off the top, just initial thoughts about the game overall.
Jimmy Butler is my absolute favorite player in the NBA. He's been the captain of my fantasy team for the last 2 years. I've been ridiculed and chastised. People were laughing at me, and I'm the one who's having the last laugh right now. He is outplaying legitimately LeBron James. It's absolutely amazing. Obviously, LeBron James had a 40-point a virtuoso performance, if you will. But Jimmy Butler is willing his team to victory. He played all of the game except for, say, 48 seconds, I think. So he played pretty much the whole game. He was exhausted. He gave his all. And we're going to game 6. I'm so happy we're going to game 6. It's a real series, man.
Yeah, no more. The gentleman's sweep, no more. The Lakers have knocked off everybody in 5. And the Heat just refuse to go down, right? It seems like every time there's a pivotal game in the series, Jimmy Bucket says, "I'm not going home yet," and then he picks it up, right? Yesterday was the 35-point triple-double with the 5 steals as well.
Oh my God!
Which is, I guess, individually outperforming the 28 points that AD got and the 40 that LeBron got. But listen, I want to ask you about this. Obviously, the gentleman's sweep would have been awesome for LeBron to go really 16-4 in the playoffs here. But this is, and I don't want to like spin anything or start anything, but I want to ask you, this was a chance to capture the chip, and now AD looks less healthy, right? He looks like he picked up maybe a bit of an injury on his heel there. Is there something with LeBron in closing out that's been kind of a criticism for, his 3-9 championship run? Can you talk to me a little bit about how important it is for LeBron to get this done and not let it go 7 games?
LeBron's just got to get it done, period. Whether it goes 6 or 6 is, if they get it done in 6, then okay, you gave them some life, but you stomped on them. If it goes 7 games, honestly, I don't know who's going to win that game at that point. Miami would have earned that game 7, like obviously, as they already have earned this 3-2 deficit in this series already. But as for LeBron's legacy, if he blows a 3-1 lead after coming back from a 3-1 lead, there goes that whole argument that was for his GOAT case, obviously. And frankly, let's even talk about some of the more, stout NBA aficionados. They're sitting there saying, he's in the Mount Rushmore, but he's still trying to pass Magic. He's still trying to pass Kareem for the most part. So this would do a lot of harm, a great deal of it for that sense. So LeBron's got a lot riding on this, but if AD is any sense hobbled coming into next game and can't give it 100% of a go, I expect Miami to come out and try to step on their throat and say, "Hey, y'all injured? We're injured too." Goran Dragic hasn't showed up the whole series. Our 21.1 points per game went poof. Now you're relying on guys like Kendrick Nunn and Tyler Hero to hopefully try to step up, and Duncan Robinson, who did step up with 26 big points, 7 threes last night. It's spectacular watching this team, try to be bigger than the sum of their parts. It's amazing. It's really amazing to watch. And LeBron's got a tough task in front of him because they've got some great defensive schemes with Eric Spoelstra, who knows him quite well.
I want to ask you this, and obviously AD being healthy is a massive, massive part of this team succeeding. Danny Green hasn't hit a 3 since he played for the Raptors. Obviously, this seems to be very much that it's these two guys taking on, the entire Heat team. And in our previous breakdowns, we talked about, whoever's coming out of the East has more of a team, and whoever's coming out of the West looks like they have big stars in the lineup. But last night specifically, the LeBron 40, 13, and 7, or Jimmy Butler's 35-point triple-double, who had the better game?
I'm going to say Jimmy Butler. I'm going to have to go with Jimmy Butler. Why? Well, when you're getting 5 steals on one end, you go get 11 assists, you have 3 turnovers. That's efficient. That's team-based. And we're not even talking about the 35 that he dropped. And also the 12 boards that he got. Forgive me if it's 11. But regardless, another triple-double with 5 steals. And, we're talking about a serious carry. Like, this guy has sat in the last 2 games combined. Out of the full 48, in each game, he's averaging sitting down for 90 seconds. less than that. Like, he's playing every single minute you possibly could. A reporter asked him in the post game, what's really did you know that you could play at this level? He's like, I'll do whatever I have to do to win. And it's because of my teammates that are picking me up. And I know that if they double me, I'm going to kick the ball out. And if they don't double me, I'm going to score the ball. Whether it be Jay or Tyler or Duncan Robinson or Iguodala or anybody on Kendrick Nunn, anybody on that team. Olynyk is good for a three. If you leave anybody open, he's going to pass the ball off. He is really showing that he's a consummate professional despite not being able to shoot a three in today's modern game. It's really a sight to behold.
And despite his Herculean efforts, it looks like in order for the Heat to win, he kind of has to produce this. All in all, is he capable of producing this again for a Game 6 and Game 7? And then more specifically, do the Heat actually have a shot of taking this or pushing it to 7 games?
The Heat, yes, they do have a shot. And the reason they have a shot is because of the first part of your question is, can he do it? Yes, he can. If I asked you if Kyle Lowry is going to do that again, what would you say? If I asked you if Marcus Smart was going to show up on the defensive end and try to lead his team in that way, what would you say? If I said Giannis was going to give 100%, regardless if they win or lose, what would you say? There's some guys in this league, even Russell Westbrook, there's some guys in this league who have that dog in them. And you're just not going to out-effort and out-try. Now, sometimes these guys might get in their own way by trying too hard and not playing within themselves. That's not Jimmy Butler. That's not these Kyle Lowry. That's a championship mentality you need to have, You need to understand, okay, look, my team might be in this situation, but I know how to go and put my stamp on this game to make sure that, like Jimmy Butler said in his post-game interview as well, that when we leave, we can live with the result because of the effort that we put out. And that is the type of player I want in my foxhole every single time.
Yeah, and I love how passionate you are about Jimmy Butler because he's you can tell your favorite player and he's awesome, right? I've become such a huge Jimmy Butler fan throughout the postseason as well. But all that being said, if really everything's on him, there has to be a time, and we've seen, right, the 2 games that they've won have been thanks to his, Herculean efforts. But otherwise, the Heat aren't really testing the Lakers outside of that, right? So I'll ask you this: Sunday night, and we'll wrap on this. Game 6. Does LeBron take home his 4th championship, or are we going to see a Game 7?
I think that we're going to see a Game 7. Why? I think that Jimmy has tasted the blood in the water. The rest of the team is literally going to follow this guy's lead until the end of time. And most importantly, they don't have the Danny Greens of the world that they have to try to rely on for shots. It might come down to that last possession. Like we saw with LeBron James driving, he got triple teamed and Danny Green was left wide open, bricked, just really short armed it. Then Markieff Morris grabs the rebound and just throws it out of bounds. Like there are guys that are in the moment and because think about the difference, right? The mentality of these teams. There's give LeBron the ball and get out the way. And then there's Jimmy has the ball, but I'm ready. Like there's a different mentality that comes along with it. You might not touch the ball in 10 minutes and then you're taking the last big shot if you're Danny Green, right? Whereas if you're someone like Jay Crowder or these guys, you've touched the ball's rotating. So I see a team game kind of prevailing again in Miami Heat's home game, Game 6. And we'll see a Game 7 for the ages. I really do hope at least. Maybe I'm wishing that with my heart. But I also have that gut feeling that Butler's not going out like this. He's going to go against Game 7. He wants that coin flip game.
Yeah, and you know what? No one will ever fault Jimmy Butler if it doesn't go 7 games, right? They'll be like, listen, what a performance you had. You show, how that, you have completely eliminated the cancer in the locker room talks. Anyway, that's going to do it for this week's episode of Above the Break. Mike, thanks for the awesome insight and analysis. Guys, we hope you enjoyed our Game 5 recap and a little bit of our Game 6 preview. Take care. We'll see you next time.